Hey everyone, welcome. Last Friday I got in finally the NVIDIA Quadro P2000 I was talking about in the previous video. I want to use this card for transcoding videos with Plex for my friends and for myself. When I'm watching video content on devices that don't support direct play. So it needs to be transcoded and I want to offload that from the CPU to the graphics card. And for that I chose a P2000. I currently borrowed this one, so it's not actually mine to keep. But I'm very glad I have the chance to play with it. So I powered down the server last Friday night, start disassembling all the stuff that had to come out of the server and had to rearrange something. So the P420 RAID controller I had to be transferred to the other side for the airflow, so it wouldn't suffocate the graphics card. And then I could install the P2000 on that slot, the x16 slot on the server, and I could install the P420 RAID controller on the left side. And so the idea was that everything would stay cool and quiet. Yeah. So when I was finally done with rerouting some of the SAS cables for the SAS backplane, I closed the lid, reinstalled the server in the rack, powered it on. It was making an awful lot of noise, but that's quite normal for the server. And when it's done with the post, the fans will slow down and it will make way less noise than with the startup. So I closed the door to the pantry, went upstairs, started fiddling around with the pass-through of this Quadro P2000 you see in the background. So at first I needed to pass it through within ESXi. Not really rocket science, no. Just go to manage, go to hardware, select the graphics card and click on toggle pass-through. A reboot may be required and then you can attach it to a virtual machine. So that's what I did. Unfortunately, when I did that, the P420 RAID controller, which was transferred to another slot, that pass-through wasn't active anymore. So Unraid couldn't see the hard drives. That was easily fixed, of course. So with that fixed, I got to the stage that I actually could find it within Unraid, installed the NVIDIA driver plugin, downloaded the latest driver for this Quadro card, made some changes to the Plex Docker for the pass-through of this graphics card, and started testing it with some friends. And as you can see in the background, it was actually working without the CPU being utilized 100%, the 8 cores I gave this VM. So yeah, I was quite happy with that, I must say. I had a couple of transcode streams and I had a couple of direct streams. Normally with one transcode stream, the CPU would be utilized 100%. And basically it had no room left for anything else than transcoding stuff. So you can imagine that if you start a second stream that it would turn up just buffering, hiccups, and it would not be a smooth playback. And with this it didn't even come close to that. As you can see, the graphics card had no problems whatsoever transcoding a couple of streams. It was utilized 0%. So I was quite happy with that, because the downside I got was that the fans refused to spin down. They kept running at, let me see, because I can still hear it and I'm upstairs now and the servers are in the pantry. They keep running at 54%. And that's before this they were running at 35%. So yeah, of course 90% more. Yeah, what's the difference in that? With these fans, high powered, high pressure fans, quite a lot actually. I can hear it upstairs in the bedroom even. So that's something that I don't want. I was asking myself the question, could it be temperature related? And at first I thought, well, yeah, that could definitely be it. If we look at this is the highest temperature, 59 degrees Celsius. But without the graphics card, this spikes to 80, 85 degrees Celsius and the fans stay at 35%. So I figured that it might not be temperature related how these fans work. I think it's, and I must dive into that because what I say now is just an assumption of mine. I think it's power related. So the more stuff you install in your server, the more power it draws, the faster the fans will spin. Yeah, I think that is something with these servers. Now bear in mind, this is enterprise hardware. These servers were not meant to be installed in someone's pantry who thought it was a good idea to build himself a nice home setup with this. No, normally these would run in a data center and their sound doesn't matter. The sound levels don't matter in a data center. In my situation, that's a different thing. So yeah, now I got to the point that in combination with the previous videos, that I'm not all that satisfied with this server after all. I did a bunch of videos about only this server. It kept me busy for the last couple of months, tinkering around with stuff, looking for solutions to problems that are not really problems, but I experience them as problems. For example, the performance in the virtual machines. Switched to ESXi, the performance got a little bit better, but not to the level that my Threadripper, the server I got before this Gen 8, the L380 Gen 8, the Threadripper was much faster than these Xeon's E5 2470 V2 CPUs. The Threadripper is this one, it's a 2920X, and that one has a, let's see, can we see it here? Has a base clock of 3.5 gigahertz with a boost up to 4.3. And at the moment, the Threadripper is used as my workstation PC with 64 gigabytes RAM. Yeah, I had to do something with it. Yeah, because I only used it for a couple of months and then I decided I wanted to buy the L380 Gen 8. So yeah, now I'm thinking, because I still have the Shenbro service chassis, I still have the ICDock Black Vortex, I still have the mobile rack for the SSDs, I have the King slide rail for the Shenbro case as well, and of course the other hardware that comes with a server like that. So I'm thinking to maybe start experimenting, building the Threadripper back to the Shenbro chassis, with only Unraid as its operating system, and it's just repeating. I'm just repeating the process I did a couple of months ago, and for that I'm asking the community. I'm asking you, what would you do in my situation? The P2000 is a great solution for transcoding videos, and it will pretty much finalize my server. With that being said, I'm accepting the fact that the virtual machine performance will not be on par with my Threadripper build, but I can live with that. This is just a minor inconvenience. But with the noise level, no, that's something else. I don't want to hear it in the living room or in any other room except in the hallway that's next to the pantry. Yeah, that would be fine, but it's not that. It's making an awful lot more noise than that it did without the graphics card installed, and I think it's something that I can't get rid of, except I could modify the fans in these servers and they will spin at half the speed. But these fans are designed, and this system is designed to cool the whole server. They pull the air through the hard drives in the front. They blow it through the CPUs to the rest of the components within that server, out of the server on the back. I don't like the idea that if I tinker with that, it only has half the cooling capacity for that server. So if the load on the server is high, it would simply overheat. I don't want to risk that and damage the server eventually. So at the moment I can't tell you more about this because I'm still looking at the options I have. I will test the Threadripper build and see if there is actually a performance difference. But as I mentioned before, I would like to know, what would you do in a situation that I'm currently in? So please let me know in the comment section. With that being said, I will leave the video at this. If you have any other comments, suggestions, maybe some advice, you can leave them down in the comment section as well. Thank you all for watching and see you in the next one. Bye!